Right, so today I'm going to be tying something that just about every single competitive fly angler and probably many others have come up with independently of each other. It's something that everyone will have come up with at some point, I think, because it's simple. It has some components that most people like. It's fast to tie, it has a hotspot, and it's got a CDC collar, and everyone likes that. So I'm sure some of you will have tied this before, but this, if there are any beginners that are watching, this is a brilliant nymph to start with. I'm tying it quite large today just for the convenience of you being able to see what I'm doing. Usually I will tie it in between size 16 and size 20. This one I'm tying today is size 14 with a 4mm bead, just for your convenience. You can tie it in a lot of different colors, but I tie two main versions, a black and peacock version with a pink hotspot, and then a more sort of hazier natural colored one with either a sort of lime yellow hotspot or a UV purple hotspot. You're going to want to start the thread, go to the back, and then what I've got here is some dubbing, some lime yellow, and I'm actually using this as a tail. You'll notice that this sort of flash UV style dubbing has long fibers, and you can clump these quite nicely to make a very nice sort of hotspot stubby tail. Need to trim that off nice and short. Now what I'm going to get is some wire. This is going to be your ribbing. What I also love to use is a UV pearl quill. I think Hens makes some, but I don't have that right now. So I'm just going to use wire because it helps to hold the fly together a little bit better. And I will make up for that UV flash by having a little bit of sparkle in my hazier dubbing. Now this isn't going to be one of those ultra sparse flies, so you can build up this body a little bit if you like. It's quite nice and buggy. You don't have to worry about it being super neat either. Right, now you've got the dubbing in, you can just rib that. Tie in the ribbing, whatever you're using. And now we are going to use some CDC. Now for this color combination I'm going to use this Bistre color CDC. It's like a dark natural, I guess. This is Marc Petitjean's CDC, but any sort of natural CDC is going to work great for this hazier color. And I'm not going to use a lot, I'm just going to use just a few fibers, like just the bottom little bit, And this will maybe trap 1 or 2 air bubbles, give it a little bit more sparkle, but mostly it'll just make it a bit buggier and it'll give it some legs. And I'm going to do a split thread of this. Right. Now you just spin the thread a bit just to trap those fibers. Now you just wrap that around to make that collar. Now that collar does look very messy right now. So we're going to neaten that up by putting some dubbing in front of there. I'm going to mark the thread black because I'm using white thread and I'm about to use black dubbing. And I like to finish off the fly. If I'm finishing off the fly in front of black dubbing, I like to finish off the fly with black thread. So you can just cheat and use a marker for that. Now when I'm tying these lighter versions, I will always use a bit of black dubbing. It makes a very nice sort of contrast. So if the fly is getting lost in the water, there's just that black sort of bar that actually stands out quite well. And I'm not sure why it works so well, but it really does. And you don't need a lot. Use very little, and it just makes a sort of black spot on your fly. Also push that CDC back, which isn't actually necessary, but, you know, makes the fly look cuter. Cool. And that's sort of what you're going to end up with. Now this thing you can also tie with, you can experiment with the colors, see what works for you in your area. It works very well for trout, very well for yellowfish as well. My two favorites are like a fluorescent pink tail, peacock whole body with some silver holographic ribbing, black CDC, and a gold bead or silver bead depending on what you like in your area, or this color combination, either like this or with a UV purple tail. And those two seem to cover me in most situations, and you'll find it'll take you 3 minutes to tie, and they are quite spectacularly effective.